Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for joining me today, Mouse.
Oh,
Uh, people will be wondering why you signed up for these because I am so enthusiastic. I could pummel you right now. Like, seriously. Like, I have goosebumps. I'm like jumping all over the place. I
I
can't
love Black
hide.
Mirror.
I can't hide my love of this series. I really can't. So, if you're expecting me to be unbiased, well, there's going to be definitely some bias here, but I will point out some things, if there's something wrong or whatever. But I'm a Charlie Brooker fan, and I'm not ashamed of it. And well, Brooker's back, baby. And you know how I know, Mouse?
How do you know?
First thing he did was kick me in the gut. This
Oh,
damn
absolutely.
episode. Like he back. He back like old school Brooker, for my opinion. This episode, which by the way, those of you coming in, thank you, thank you. If I don't say hello to you individually, I am glad you're all here. But I'm so excited. I want to talk about this. I do. I just can't. I just can't. I will look. If you have questions for me, please at me or Mousy in the chat. And let me just say that Mousy has her own channel. Mousy Files, the flying aquatic mouse that we see, and it is linked in the description below. So go check it out. Um, I do appreciate you being here for this. But hey, man, I think this episode, Calming People, it's called episode 1 of season 7 on Netflix, is very much back to original Black Mirror from the old days. Very tech oriented, but relatable tech. Like that's the thing. Old school Black Mirror, you could relate to the tech in a way. Like it would be something you might be interested in, or you could see somebody using. And the human aspect of it on how things can go wrong. Like the best things in life aren't always the best things for you, kind of thing. And those emotional kick in the gut in
Oh,
dealing
yeah.
yeah in dealing with the situation. Well, all right, so trigger, like, first advance warning: anybody coming to listen to this series and not having watched the episode, well, you're going to hear all about it. I'm not holding back. You're going to hear the beginning, the ending, every little nuance of it. So spoiler alert, like, we're going to ruin it for you. No
Hmm.
problem
Oh, yeah.
checking out now. No problem checking out now and coming back later and watching it, because it is my intent to ruin it. Like we're going into all of it. Like yeah, yeah. And I'm not gonna bother with any like, oh, don't listen to this parts. If you're here, be prepared. We're talking about it all. And we're gonna start with the premise of the episode. Mouse, do you want to give them a little eyeball of what the whole episode was about? Like a little brief synopsis, maybe?
Okay, so episode 1, common people. You think, okay, common people, regular people, right? That's what I thought when I heard the name. And it very much was that, like everyday life going on for a couple. And, the twists and turns that can happen in your daily life. But man, did they really get the the rug pulled up under their feet. Oh my God. Things went from great to not great in literally like 2.5 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
just, they had to, well, one of them had to make a big decision. And so he did. He made the best decision,
Mm-hmm.
maybe for him, I think. And maybe, yeah, well, he had to make a decision and he did. And
Mm-hmm.
then the rest of the episode is what that decision cost that couple. And
Exactly.
it was wild.
Yep. And so let's get into particulars of that, because like for the casting and everything going for there, the couple is Mike and Amanda. And
Mhm.
Amanda is a very familiar face to Charlie Brooker fans who have watched Black Mirror before, because she's played by Rashida Jones. So she's been in other episodes before. And Mike is played by, oh, I think it. Oh, let me get his name again. I have so many notes here. You guys are gonna have to give me like a little bit of a second. Mike is portrayed by Chris O'Dowd. Okay, and I did recognize that face before, not from Black Mirror, but I've seen this actor before. You know, when you say typical couple. Well, that's portrayed by the fact that Mike is a welder, devoted husband. You can see they've got a great relationship. They got a modest life. Like you said, it just seems like everyday average. In uh, Amanda is a school teacher, okay, and they just enjoying their life together. And the way that's portrayed cinematography wise, you can't really tell where it's from, although it does have like an English flair to it with the accents and the language and some of the stuff. Well, you can't tell the time. That could be anywhere from the 60s to 2022, like when you're looking at the situation, how they're living and what's going on. And at the same time, by giving it an everyday feel to us who are watching, it also has, because of what happens, this in the future kind of aspect to it, like, which is very key to Brooker, right? Like he just
Oh,
this, yeah, he just is very very good at this in building teams that help convey his message totally, you know. And just to reiterate, like this was directed by Ali Pankiw, okay, who he's worked with before. He's done several episodes. The cinematography is by Bobby Shaw, who I only see him doing this episode. I did not recognize the name, so he was kind of new. Okay, but one of the other key players in the story that's been in other things is Tracee Ellis Rosa, who plays Gaynor. And when we get into the nuts of the story, which is coming right now, you'll understand her part in the whole thing. But the couple themselves, you're right. They're like an everyday couple that we all can relate to, right? You know, the um the cute little footsies, the waking up to have coffee, the starting their work life together, the getting home and rehashing things over dinner, like that. Yeah, simple life. You know, we see them planning an anniversary trip, right? It's their anniversary when we open the scene. They get
yep.
reminders on their phones that it's their anniversary, and they have planned to go visit a place that they've been to before. And I think we all can relate to kind of, whether you're married or not, or you have a significant other, or you go places with your family, we can all kind of relate to the ordinariness of this scene that they're setting up. Would you agree, Mouse? Like, I think that's
Oh,
what,
absolutely.
yeah, trying to say, you know,
Yeah,
oh,
I think like anyone who watched this episode could relate to the people in the episode, especially if like you're in a relationship even.
hmm,
Because it's just like, it's the little things when when you're in a relationship, your everyday life of just, you know, your routine. And
right.
man,
Yeah. I like this. Jin does remind me that it really can't be English, although it does have to me an English flair. They are driving on the other side of the road, so it's very American at the same time. Okay, and they don't people don't come at me and tell me that we all have it wrong over here and you're all right. Like I don't want to get into the debate. And Charlie wants to know if the episodes are all kind of connected. I'm going to talk about that a little more towards the end because I actually have Charlie. I have a lot of statements that Charlie Booker has made in regards to this. And it is my opinion that all the episodes are eventually all connected every season. Like, and
yeah.
as a point of reference, I'll remind you that in season 6, which was the most recent one we covered, so it's fresher in our minds, he did that red mirror thing and he concentrated on horror, right? And so every episode had a little bit of a supernatural horror kind of feel to it and tied in some way that way. But then he did make the mistake and he admits it. And it was picked up by a lot of people that love Charlie Brooker and Black Mirror, but are also were critical that one of the episodes, and I'm not going to say which one, had too much of a Black Mirror feel instead of a Red Mirror feel and ruined the whole thing that he was trying to do. So, but you'll notice, like with all of that horror part, that was calming in all of the 5 episodes from season 6. Okay, in in this one, we will see. It's going to be hard to see how they're all connected in a way, except already I have watched a few and it's already out
Mhm.
there. The whole season's released at once. So these aren't spoilers. Because we're going to deep dive on each one. But when you consider the fact that the sequel to USS Callister is in this particular season 7, then I think
Mhm.
already out of the gate with the feel of common people, we're talking about the feel is Brooker's back to his old direct mission of tech, humanity, and relating to life now in 2025 already,
Oh,
right out of the gate. I could say that's going to be common. I'll just put it out there. It's probably, I have not gone as deep into 2, 3, 4, and 5 yet, but from 1 to 6, I can just tell you that that's already a common theme right there. Let's go back to the old way that I did it, old Brooker, original Black Mirror. Let's take the wind out of people and give them so much to chew on, they can wait a little while till I get the next season out. A total Brooker style there. Would you agree? I don't know,
oh,
Greg.
oh yeah. Like, and even from I've only watched 1, 5, and 6. I watched them kind of backwards. So I have to finish watching the rest of the season. But
Mm-hmm.
from what I have seen, oh, you can find the connections. You can see things that pop from episode to episode. Even in older episodes, they're going to come back. Um,
Yeah.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
know to the extent of that because I've only watched a couple, like all the way through.
Right.
So I don't know how deep it goes back. I do want to go back and watch the full thing, like from season 1 to 7 again,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
see to
it's
see.
a lot. And
It is a lot.
and if you and actually I have a playlist. I'm going to toot my own horn. It's linked down below. Every single episode's been reviewed in total seasons, plus the movie recaps on like the whole season down below. If you guys want to catch up here and there and get familiar with the series, just spot check around. It is on Netflix. Teresa, welcome. To answer your question, it is a Netflix series right now. Brooker did have it elsewhere, and on the last 2 seasons, his production company got into a deal with Netflix, and they are actually putting it out now, both season 6 and 7. But they also have all the other ones there too, because one of the delays after season 5 was that Brooker was waiting to get his rights back to his own stuff because of deals he had made before with different production companies. Now he's dealing mainly with a production company that's his own, with a deal for with Netflix at the time. So he didn't want to put out anything else until he got back the rights to the other, so he could move everything together. Because he's a very smart man. What's the sense in starting the series over on Netflix with season 6 and 7 if you don't have the whole history from before? It kind of goes to what Charlie says. Are they all connected? They are, obviously. If he wants to keep it all together as a unit, there's a reason. Is it not only just personal as an artist, but it's the concept of what he's doing. Hey Bliss, good to see you. Mrs. Cassandra, you're absolutely right. This episode can have an eye-opening on how things are hitting. I don't know if anybody saw
Yeah.
my Twitter on this, but I am definitely gonna read that because I think it hit home exactly. So when I was promoting what we're doing tonight, Mousy, this is what I wrote, and I tagged you. I don't know if you saw it, but what if the only thing keeping your loved one alive was a monthly subscription you couldn't afford to miss? Imagine that love and loyalty and life itself are packaged, priced, and sold by a tech giant. Because that's what's going on in Common People. It strips away the illusion about choice in a world where survival has a price tag, and the cost isn't just money. It's your dignity, autonomy, ultimately, let's get dramatic, your soul. This isn't just another dystopian story. It's far from it. It's the one we're living in now, today. If you don't relate to the healthcare issues because you're in another country that has, somewhat free healthcare or universal healthcare, well, here in America, healthcare is not like that. You can relate on the healthcare end of it. But also, I think universally in every country, we all have issues with subscription services and how capitalism is taking over the need to anything that you want to do, make it a subscription service. And what are they actually offering you for it? And how does the price just keep going up? And how do they sell you a deal and then change the terms? And that you have to constantly be upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. Like the universal issue of subscription services is very evident in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. Because we're going to unravel the episode, the Chilean Brilliance, about Gaynor, the sales rep for Rivermind, which is the technology company that sells this element of subscription service to Mike and Amanda. We're going to talk about her uh, haunting rise and what it means to her, about Amanda's final moments. And yes, she has final moments. And just how this might be the most devastating episode of the season. I mean, the way that my gut got hit, you know. Well, basically, the story is this happy couple that Mousy explained to us, this idyllic little situation, everyday life, gets disrupted when at work, Amanda's been suffering headaches. She ends up collapsing at work on a ventilator in the hospital by the time Mike gets there with damage to her brain. It's irreversible and she may never wake up. A situation none of us want to be in. That alone is horrible. And it kind of tugs at your heartstrings while you're watching it. Well, lo and behold, when the doctor gives him the prognosis that she may never wake up, she also tells him about a meeting she just had with a sales representative that was promoting this new technology that might help. And that she can't recommend it or not recommend it, but she can have somebody contact him. Enter, enter Gaynor, who comes in and just, well, would you say Mousy she was quite sympathetic? Like, yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
she was real sympathetic on their situation. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey, she's even been through it herself. She's just like them. She
Mm-hmm.
knows what it's like, and she's there to help. She's gonna make it all better for them, and it's just so like you can tell it's a sales pitch. You can see it from a mile away if you're not the person that needs
The
whatever
help.
the
Yeah.
help. Like,
Yeah.
and she comes off as caring and supportive, and she just wants to help this couple. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's when I want to try to like be like, no, don't do it. Don't take
Mm-hmm.
it. Don't take the bait.
Exactly, because we could see like almost where it's going. He's desperate. We
Mhm.
go from this happy every day. We're celebrating our anniversary. We just went and had burgers, and enjoyed the whole kitsch of the beginning of our relationship, and then boom, she's in a bed, never to recover. Like he's just like, what would my life be without her? The desperation that was there was palpable. The character, I have to say,
Oh,
the acting in this was, I felt it. And if I can feel it, the actors are doing a good job. The cinematographer is doing a
oh,
good job. Part of the play on that Brooker does is a lot of the visuals that we see affect us without us even knowing about it. Like,
mhm.
in the process, just the way the whole thing is filmed, like every day, everywhere. Like that could be any hospital, anywhere, in that situation happens every day, you know, in just the angles that they used in the conversation with the doctor. Kind of matter of fact, kind of like, but also sympathetic and all. I can't really get involved, but here's a little nugget. I want to help because this is horrible.
Mhm.
Well,
Yep.
Gaynor
And
just sitting there like an average woman who's just like, well, let me tell you, I've been through it. My brain's just fine. The technology is amazing. They talk about cutting out the bad part of her brain, mapping her whole personality, and putting it back that she's online in the cloud as an individual, and they're just going to keep her signal going, even though it's not possible without this technology. And
yeah,
that there's
like
some, yeah.
gotta have it, or she's gonna die. She's not. She's just
Hmm.
like at this point, this is his only hope to get his
Hmm.
wife back.
I thought it was quite clever how they addressed right out of the gate. Will she be her? Will she
Hmm.
actually, is it really going to be her personality? Is she really going to be my wife? If I do this to her, if she has this surgery, if I take away all options, right, and only depend on this service, but is she going to be her? And that was clever the way they marketed that. Yes, it's you. It's
Yeah.
totally you. Like, look at me. My kids say I'm just like that. I thought that was funny.
The same pain in the ass that she was before. Her
Yup.
words.
Which
Her
was really,
words were,
yeah.
I'm the same pain in the ass as I was before. And Fish Nerd even said it. And what's the best part? Claire got all of her sales pitch.
Oh my God. It's just that, and it's only $300 a month.
But the
Oh, the best
surgery is
part,
free.
the surgery is free. We can give you
Mhm.
this technology, which no one on the planet could possibly afford. If you're in America, you know what this kind of surgery would cost. Like, you'd have to give up everything. To throw that carrot out there was like a deal sealer. Like, okay, and you just have to
Mhm.
sign up for a subscription service. So, like all of us, when we sign up for things like Netflix, don't hate me, Netflix, but yeah, okay, or anything that we use on a regular basis, and it just keeps upgrading and upgrading. Like, we don't think about it at first. We're like, get it? Yeah. You think you're buying what you're buying, right? You're set into a deal. This is what it is. I've checked it out. This is what I want. I'm gonna go for it. She does the same thing. $300. That's affordable. I get my wife back. What's a couple of hours extra of work? What's like, cutting meat out of the diet for a few weeks? Like what? Like, I'll get my wife back, and I don't want to lose my wife. Like, mm,
Yeah, and she even's like, this gives you time. It's like, he was like, she even asked him, "Do you have kids?" And it's like, "Well, we're trying."
mm-hmm.
And she's
Yes.
like, "Well, this gives you that time." And it's like,
This
that right there would hook, line, and sinker
it
anyone if it
would.
was the loved ones.
Yeah, especially like who's ready? Who's ready to lose anyone? Like, no, you're not. Like, if you're in a committed relationship or with your children, like even with our parents and all, you're never ready. You're never ready. So she's offering him time, and it seems reasonable, right? And then as it progresses, the story will have to speed up a little bit. Like, all of this happens where, you know, everything's going fine. She's having these little quirks. Um, you know, Amanda, let me just explain the character a little bit so you understand how devastating some of the things that happened are. She's a very caring teacher. Her younger students, they're all quite younger. She's an elementary school teacher, have problems. We open up on a scene where there's a little girl, Mikey, that the kids are picking on because she's got really old shoes, you know. And this is the kind of adult who turns at you and goes, they're not old, they're vintage, you know,
Mhm.
turning the negative into a positive and saying, that's okay. They're your sisters and everything, but they're not old, they're negative. Like, be proud of what you have. It's just them being bullies, like, whatever. She got another incident with a young boy who says he's got a hard home life right now. His dad's angry all the time. Mom says stuff. He doesn't know what to do. And she's just like, I know that might be difficult, like, and hard, you know. But it gets a little crazy when this they've signed on for one level of a plan, and in their first conversation, right, Mouse, were they not like,
Mhm.
didn't Gaynor talk about, well, right now you can only stay near your home, but
Yeah,
we're
most of the
gonna
state
be,
is covered.
yeah, most of the state's covered, and we're working on the network, and it's going to be everywhere. So from
Mhm.
her perspective, she's laying out, we're growing, we're advancing, things are going to change, blah blah blah, but she's not going into the details of it. She's not
No.
talking, advances. He's thinking, oh great, I'm signing on for $300 a month for a company that is going to be everywhere. It's not going to limit us, it's going to be good, you know and he's thinking he's getting one thing, and she's actually telling him everything and doesn't feel any guilt about it later when they go to visit, have a weekend trip, because life has been stressful. Because one of the things, right, Mousy, that is a
Yeah.
trade-off is that she needs to sleep more.
Yeah. Like just
And
couple hours more each night.
yeah,
Just a couple
and
hours.
they show us this as separation of the couple. The separation of the couple starts. We opened up with the scene, them celebrating their anniversary, of them cuddling in bed at the same time, playing footsie, waking up together. We're now at scenes every day where he gets up early to go to work to help pay for this $300 because they are on a tight budget. They are regular working class, and to afford what they have, they're counting their pennies. So, and they also are saving a lot of money for babies, for infertility treatments. That it is obvious in playing out the scenes that they have had some trouble and lost a few attempts, and it cost a lot of money, and they're saving money. They've got money put away for it. They're on a really strict budget that they put on themselves. So in order to pay for these, he's taking on extra shifts. He's getting up early. We see the alarm clock go off. We see him getting up early. No longer are they playing footsie because she's out cold, right?
Yeah, she's not even dreaming. She's just off, like turned off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't you,
Yep.
like you shut down your computer, put it to
Mm-hmm.
sleep.
Yep. And then that is when we start to see, like right after we've acknowledged that they're separating a little bit, we also see that, like Mrs. Cassandra says, she starts having ads come through and she's not aware of it.
Oh,
So she hasn't mentioned anything to Mike yet. We also get to the point where they try to take a trip and they pass the county line and she goes and passes out like that, like it disconnects,
yeah, just like,
here and then not here, right? And so that is
mhm.
what sends them back to the first reconnection with Gaynor as far as the what the services that they're paying for and what's wrong. And she reassures them there's nothing wrong with the service. Like it's fine. It's just you went out of the service area because we switched grids. Yes, you
Mhm.
can go out of the service area, but not on the plan that you're on, you know? And when he notices that she's doing the ads, they bring that up and they said, oh, yeah, that is like to help pay for everything. Like, yes. And if you want to go ad free, that's not in your plan either. You're now on the basic minimal plan. So, like, you have to upgrade another 500 or whatever it was a month so that you can go out of your home area and go throughout the state and then you
Mhm.
won't get the ads, as much. Okay. Because the
Yeah,
ads are starting to be a problem. The reason I brought up the children is the ads directly affect the children. When the young boy comes to talk to her about his
oh,
problems at
yeah.
home, she goes into a Christian, therapy site and starts talking about religion, and she has no idea she's doing it. Um, and it becomes a
Yeah,
problem when one of the people from the school go to talk to her about she's an older woman and a friend of hers, and she starts talking about a 49-year like an
a
elder
50
like
plus dating
a
site.
50
And
plus
she's like,
dating
that's
site.
49.
Yes, and doesn't have any idea in the conversation that she's doing it. Yes, exactly. Quit.
Yeah.
That's what she hears, Jen. You're on Rivermind Common. You'll need to upgrade to Rivermind Plus. And yes, Clarence, I did pick up about the bees. I have an issue with the bees. We will be talking about the bees, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody that follows me knows I have an issue with those damn bees. Yeah. So
Those
they're on
bees are
the
horrifying.
right. And so Amanda's in jeopardy of losing her job. Things are already tight. Mike is already starting to see the stress. You can see he's tired. You see, like, I love the way they played it. Him slumped in the chair, just like, are you kidding me? Like, he's like, he already knows how stretched they are and what this actually means, but he doesn't want her to lose her. Like, but she's not there when she does ads. And they should at least be able to go have a burger at that place that they celebrate all the time. Oh,
Exactly.
so
Like they should be able to live their life.
right. So, in order for her to be alive, this is the first time that they realize they have to actually spend more money just for her to be there because she's going to lose her job. And if she loses her job, they can't afford the $300 a month. So, they're actually going to have to sign up for more of a contract and try to work it out so that she doesn't lose her job. It's like total insanity. Total insanity. This
That's
is
where, isn't that where the dumb dummies comes into play?
Yes, and the character of Shane, the guy who doesn't really want to work, extends on his breaks. The foreman's always sending Mike out to look for him. Shane is a real
Slacking
pain in
off.
the neck. And he tells him about, like, he shows him this dumb dummies thing. You want to tell them about what dumb dummies is?
Dumb Dummies is, oh, well, yeah, I'll tell them about Dumb Dummies. That was, you could see that, like, there's probably something already on the internet like it. People that are hard up, desperate for money,
Mm-hmm.
going on, doing stupid things, dark acts, and all they need is you to give them just a little bit of money. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the ultimate grift, almost. Really, you're sitting there, you're giving these guys money, and they're gonna do something crazy like drink their pee,
Oh
or
yeah, disgusting.
write on the whatever across their chest in red lipstick.
Mm-hmm.
Just something crazy, just
Oh, your
degrading and
average
humiliating.
crazy YouTube stuff. Like there are all channels out here like that do their crazy stuff. Yep, dumb dummies like an OnlyFans. Yep, to you pay
Yeah.
money to get them to do outrageous stuff like on the thing,
Hmm.
and so it's a way to make
And
extra money, and it comes in to be a little bit helpful for this them, you know,
and,
because they're
and
getting
like
desperate.
Shane's addicted to it. Watches it every waking minute he's at work.
Mm-hmm. And it does become an integral part of their life, or at least Mike's, because not
Yeah.
only is he taking on extra shifts, and they show us repeatedly that he's not around as much. She's sleeping more and more. Oh, they did address that in the meeting with Gaynor, the first meeting with Gaynor, which is no longer her coming to them. By the way, they have to go into corporate, and she has a
Hmm.
nice
I have to go
nice
hunt her
office
down.
now. They have a nice office now. And she's not literally dressing like them anymore, like casual attire. Nice and well done in the first meeting when she went to the hospital to meet Mike. But now, well, let's just say she's got a little bit more of a spiffy look, and she's looks like she's doing okay. And she's obviously advanced up in the company. She's no longer a salesperson only. It seems like she's got a good office in a nice place. And she knows everything that they're doing. And she's talking about the plans and how it's advancing and this and that, and changing the name of plans and everything and just selling it to them. And you could see on Mike how like he's like, oh my God. And you see on Amanda, she's just afraid. She's just
Yeah.
scared that
And
like
and
this could
she's
all just disappear.
mad. It's almost like she's mad because it's like you just want to take more and more and more for us to just live our normal lives, but they
Hmm.
kind of need it. It's like everything, it's like they know that they're offering things that people need, but yet she's got to make a choice, either pay it or don't pay it.
Yeah. And it's not a choice that the choice is more than just the money and whether you think it's worth it. It's a matter of not being there anymore, you know, and having to uh now that they're in the cycle of it, maybe it was the wrong choice and that they shouldn't have brought her. You're like, but she's still there. Like he's dealing with all of her, Amanda, at the time when she is awake. It's her 100%. And so that's hard, you know. It, what do you, they can't even have the conversation at this point, right, Mousy? They haven't even dealt with what they're each individually going through at this time. They do get a little testy with each other when they're traveling in
Yeah.
the car, and you could see the cracks and the tired. He's just like, I'm just tired. And she's just like, well, that's not my fault. It's not something I can help. And he goes, I'm not blaming you. Like it's the situation. Well, the
Mhm.
situation is definitely affecting them both really hard, you know. And I think we could jump right into the ending of the story just so that we could start dissecting the sections a little deeper. What do you think, man?
Oh
Mouse?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Um,
um,
Especially when they do finally get to go on that next trip. Wow, that was
mhm.
that was intense.
Right. So it's going to jump forward, like we're going to jump forward to when they're going to go a whole year of this, okay? With the plans changing, extra financial stress, him working more hours, doing things on dumb dummies to get money to help pay for these upgrades and everything because well, everything is just really terrible at work. And then what happens is after Amanda does the last thing that she does with the student about the Christian uh, therapy, the mother of that child raised such a Amanda just loses her job because she can't stop she didn't the ads were evident affecting people. One of the other last things was that lovely little girl Mickey that she tried to make feel better about wearing used shoes uh, in that they were vintage and not to worry about how kids insult her. As she passes her in the hallway, and this was an important scene,
Oh, that
Amanda
was
doesn't,
heartbreaking.
Amanda still doesn't know at this time when she's doing the ads. Well, she passes Mickey in the hallways and starts to do a shoe ad for new shoes. And of course, the girl looks at her like, and she thinks she's talking to her directly. Okay. And then part of this ad is a personal approach like, hey, kids, why don't we talk to our parents about getting them? Because that will really make your life better. And so she actually thinks she's addressing her personally about it. It had to be devastating for that child. And here it is. Amanda doesn't know anything about it. But of course, the school hears about it. And Amanda loses her job, which puts us more financial strain on Mike, more going to dumb dummies. This is what actually cultivates him towards dumb dummies the most, is because Amanda no longer can contribute. She's still sleeping more. He still wants her here. They're going to have to go meet. They go meet for another meeting with Gaynor, thinking she's going to help him out because, like, they're going to be there. You know, they've been there from the beginning. Of course, she's going to relate to them that she lost her job because of dumb dummies. Mike ends up losing his job because somebody, probably Shane, because he's such a twat. He really is. The character Shane is such a twat.
Yeah, because
Somebody
he was,
pays him to
yeah,
take off his mask because dumb dummies, he was only using a mask, right, Mike? He didn't want all of his dignity gone. He knew Shane was watching. He knew people were watching. He didn't want people to know who he was, but he wanted to make the money. But somebody paid him like a whole upgrade month to take off that mask. And so he goes into work the next day, and there's a picture of him without the mask from Dum Dummies on the bulletin board, and everybody's laughing. And so he attacks Shane. And while he's attacking Shane, Shane goes and falls under a big truck and kind of
gets run
gets like
over.
permanently damaged. Not that he didn't deserve it, but of course Mike gets fired because, the company has to do something. And at this time, right before at this time also, I want to say that he loses his job. Amanda is also complaining, like Jen says in the chat, that about the poor quality of sleep. Because when they go in for this next meeting with Gaynor, she talks about how they're siphoning off of her for the upgrades and everything because she doesn't have the new Lux plan.
Yeah, that makes your life so much greater, so much better. You
Yes.
gotta.
Yes, because not only are we going to extend the area that you can go in, we're going to decrease the ads. We won't siphon your energy as much while you're sleeping, because that's why when she wakes up, she still doesn't feel like she's awake. She's like, the sleep quality is really bad. Not only is she sleeping longer, now they're talking about the difference between 12 hours sleep and 18 hours sleep a day, and it's not even working. And the buzzing in her head from the ads and stuff, which is them using her as network, like bouncing stuff off her and using her as a cognitive in the other plans. In order to not eliminate it, but make it better, you have to move up to the Lux plan, because then they will actually enhance how you experience life, give you more euphoria and joy and happiness, and they can make it better for you, you know. And going up to Lux, well, that's only another $1,000 a month on top of the 800 they're already paying. Oh, but what's the good news, Mouse, about that?
Oh,
Or what Gaynor says is the good news. I don't think the couple thought it was so
well,
great, but
you
what
know,
Gaynor thought.
oh, what was that? You know, everything. You get to sleep better, and and oh crap, I can't remember what she said was the good thing about it. You
That
know,
they could buy sections of it for
oh,
short
sections
periods
of
of time.
time. Yes,
Yeah, that
you
they
can
could buy
buy.
like just for special events and stuff. They don't have to upgrade totally, but they could get like sections of it, you
And
know.
there's an app.
Yeah.
Like just there was an app.
And
Oh, and that
then
app, yeah,
yeah,
that
the
app
app,
was
exactly.
hilarious.
hmm And then also
Oh,
at this meeting, Gaynor learns that they're still trying to have a child, because they start talking about, well, we have the baby
oh,
that we don't want to touch, but we could take a little of it. And she says, well, a baby, that's going to be another $90 a month, because you're like, if you get pregnant, like it's much more that we have to work with your brain and everything, because you're going to be all over the place and blah, blah, blah. And they just lose it. They just look at each other like,
Like,
what?
no, like this is too
Yeah.
much. Like we didn't
Yeah.
sign up for this. Like
And I
this
can
is
see
not what we asked for.
exactly. And you could almost see Mike's brain like working like, wait a minute, I told you we were trying to have a kid from the start. Nobody ever mentioned upgrade and additional service. Like you could see him working on, God damn it, they're screwing us over like freaking capitalist. She's nothing but a capitalist. And you can see the way they're looking at her. Because now, not only is she like better dressed, this woman is outfitted in designer clothing in an even fit like a
Like,
luxury, like
dude,
kind of
like,
office.
yeah, she's
And
decked out.
decked out, right? Like, and you could see that she's been climbing and climbing, the ladder here, and just talking to them no longer like they are friends or I need you to buy it. It's more no longer a sales pitch. It is what it is. This is the way it is. Like this is business. This is how it goes. She's totally been is corporate now. She is totally drank the Kool-Aid. Gaynor is no longer relating on a human relation like person with Amanda and Mike. She is totally sitting there like capitalism front and center. Like too bad. Like
Yeah,
if you want
she
it or
is
you don't.
Rivermind corporate. You know,
She
she is.
yeah, exactly. And
She's like,
just
who's
the
gonna skin off my
realization.
back?
Mhm. So based on that realization, you can see they're both devastated. They leave totally not satisfied. They don't do the big upgrade or anything like that. They're going to talk about it, and then you can see that it's going to go another year till their anniversary. And this is what we're getting up to the ending. They've been buying little increments to show her some happiness, but the happiness stuff is way over the chart. I mean, this is where the humor comes in because they can't get rid of the ads 100% because you don't sign on for the monthly plan. So when you sign up for a Lux Boost, one of the I don't know. Do you have a favorite scene about this part, Mousy? Because like I mean,
Oh yeah.
I could go in,
I
but
love the part when he gets her the booster pack. So it's their anniversary, and they're driving back to the Juniper, and they're gonna spend the night and have their anniversary weekend. And he's like, "Hey, open the glove box. I got you something." And she opens it, and it's a booster pack. And she's like, "How did you do that?" And he's like, "You deserve this." He's
Mhm,
like, "You deserve this. I wanted to get this for you." So they go to the Juniper. They get checked in, and all she's got to do is scratch a little QR code and look at it with her eyeball, and
mhm.
then boop, she's got the app on her phone, and he drives her pleasure all the way up, like to a 10. And she's like, "Whoa, this is great!" And she screams down at the guy below, "Hey, I like your truck."
Mhm.
And it's just hilarious because she is feeling life. It's like the best
It's like
drug
the
she's
best drug
probably ever
ever.
had.
Yeah. It's some of the stuff like they're going back to the same place, so we have things to compare it to. But it's like the bet she's eating the burger, which is obviously like just a regular old burger that they do enjoy, but it's not like top-notch food. She's acting like it's the best thing she ever ate in her life.
It's
The
like an
noise is
orgasm in her
ridiculous.
mouth.
Annoying, yes. And like he's watching her, and at this point he's amused. And then
He's
they
like,
go
"What
back
is going on?"
to the the singers, the musician and the singer are there all along. It's kind of an old like catchy, kind
Like
of
an
like
old lounge
oh,
singer.
lounge singer act, right? And then and here's one of the Easter eggs. I'll just blow it out there. Of course, she hears it different than everybody else. She goes there and they're like Captain and Tennille. They got the best voices. It's so great. This is the best thing she's ever heard. And they play the song that we're all familiar with from 15 Million Merits. The if anyone knows what love is, like which is a very haunting song from that, and it's played in several episodes. So the first drop of an Easter egg there. Um, but yeah, and she's just like in her own little world, and he's just mesmerized because he doesn't hear it the way she does, and he's just watching her. She's going up to them, and she's in another world, isn't she, Mouse?
Yeah, she's just in awe. It's like it's the most beautiful thing she's ever heard. She's
Hmm.
loving it. She's like just getting lifted up, and oh, she is into it. And then it cuts to the bedroom scene.
and this is the turning point. This is what makes the next scenes after that so critical. Because go ahead, Tilda. I'm gonna give this one to you because yeah.
So they're doing it, it's their anniversary night. So they are getting to it. And she is like just it's like you couldn't buy a movie where the acting was that good. Okay. I'm just gonna put
Yep.
it like that. I
Like
mean, professional movies are not, man, she just was over it. And he's like, I can't, it's too much. And she's like,
yeah,
no, it's like the best thing ever. And
and I'm
then
oh yeah, go ahead.
and then like he's like he like stops her and she's still going, like still going.
She
And
yeah
she
finishes herself like just like laying there, just like talks herself through. It was ridiculous. It was
it
so,
was crazy.
and he's comparing it to the last time when they tried, and she was really into it. But right in the middle of it, she was doing ads for lubricant and
That's how they found out about the
erectile.
ad.
Like, listen, your husband, I don't care how great your relationship is, your partner never wants to hear you start talking about lubricant and erectile dysfunction medication while you're in the act. I don't care how funny it is. I don't care what's going on.
No,
Like, no, no. It was like, so like, not only does he want his wife back, and he had to go through that, which is why he's buying the boost packs because he doesn't want to go through that again. Now he bought the boost pack and he can't even stomach her over enjoyment of it because it's so over the top. It's almost like she's faking because she's never acted like that before. So he can't even see the realism in it, right? It's like gross. Like he gets grossed out, you know?
yeah, it's just too much for him. And it's like, and I felt bad for the guy because it's like he just wants to spend that night with his wife and
Yep.
have that connection with her. And it's just not the same as it was before.
It's not. And so, you know, it's almost like a drug, though, her enjoyment of it, because she's been so dissatisfied with the sleep and the quality of her life and the stress. And so it kind of pans to everything unraveling. The day to day, him doing the extra like stuff on the internet, trying to do work, her sleeping all the time, and then just these little moments of a boost. But it comes to the point where it's enough, and they have the conversation, and they just can't keep it up, and they have to come to the terms that they need to get out of this before before they're pulled out of it by the company for not paying for it or whatever. It's not worth it anymore, you know. Eh, And so, Amanda, and when I say it's time, I mean they know if they disconnect the service, she's gonna die.
Yeah,
And how do you take control of the service? Like, how do you take control of the situation? Well, you got to extradite yourself and give it in the time that you want and all. And the only thing that she asks Mike, which he does agree that the situation is untenable, in as much as he wants her there, he has to accept the fact that the person he's sleeping with is not there. She's a freaking ad, and she's like over enjoyment. The only way she can enjoy things is to take this pleasure booster that is acting like a drug. It's like uh we can all relate to a point in our lives where we had to do the best thing for us and maybe separate from somebody who just wasn't who they were before for us anymore and had taken a different path. Like he had to start realizing that that wasn't her anymore. And she
yeah.
is feeling miserable about it too. And
And she's
they make
miserable. She's looking old and haggard and worn.
she looks
Like,
like a drug addict,
run,
and he
yeah, like
looks
she's been run
yeah.
through the ringer.
He's drinking more now. He looks terrible. He's got missing teeth from selling body, doing stuff with dumb dummies to keep them afloat because they're both not working. And, it's terrible what's going on. He takes odd jobs. You know, they they both look like they've been through the ringer for a year. And it's
Yeah,
time. And so she asks, one of the most poignant things is just do it when I'm not here. Meaning, the only time she's really not there is when she's doing those ads because she's totally connected for a different purpose to the service, her personality is not involved at all. She's not there. She's not aware of anything,
Yeah.
you know. And this is a good point here, Clarice. I suspect Brooker was influenced by assisted dying debate when making that ending. Yes, because that is the ending. They're going to take her life, and Mike takes a pillow, and while she's doing an ad, puts it over her head until she's gone, holding her on the bed. Um, and one of the most poignant things for me was really like, remember when I said that Brooker has a way of getting the cinematographer, everybody around him to get on board with all, and they all find ways to make the points without actually saying anything. Well, those feet, the couple's feet, play prominently here for me because the last thing we see is her feet after when she's
Mhm.
dying and they're like twitching and everything. And the whole time we've been seeing their feet separate, like as they got farther and farther apart and they're no longer cuddling. It goes from them being totally together to totally now the end where they are now separated completely, feet and all forever. And I just love the way the cinematographer did that. Like I just love the way they kind of peppered that in um to the episode all the way through to stress the point. But it's very sad. And here's where we get to the point where we're going to have a little discussion on what the ending means. Because Amanda's dead in the last
Okay.
scene. You want to tell them what the last scene is? And then I'll
Well,
expand.
so as you're working up to that last scene, he gives her it's their anniversary again. It's the day of their anniversary. And he gives her a 30-minute booster pack and he dials up her serenity. And so she's feeling nothing but peace. Like she hasn't
Mm-hmm.
felt last year.
Mm.
And she decides that's it. That's how they're gonna do it, and it's gonna be today. So he
Yeah.
does what
And,
he
and,
does.
and he says, don't worry about it. Like how he said, I did some extra. I got some extra for it.
Yeah, I
Right?
did.
Yeah.
It wasn't any tooth stuff because he's missing teeth, and she's like, "You promised me no more tooth stuff," and he was like, "No, no, no, no. This is a special thing, kind of like a special investor on Dumb Dummies,
And
and
that's
so,
important. Yeah.
so don't worry
Especially.
about it."
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, he does the deed, and he's disgusted with himself, and just he vomits and he walks off. And the next thing you see him, he's got a knife cutter and he's shutting the door to the room he does the dumb dummies in. And
Mm-hmm.
I can only guess it was one of two things that he did in there because it was something else mentioned earlier, like the first time he was there. And I had a
Yeah.
feeling it was either that or he went to go find Amanda. But yeah.
I can tell you what Brooker says about it. He said you can draw your conclusions. There's only one in a heartrending story like that. He
Mhm.
said, first of all, like we laid it out, there was a special investor, put a lot of money on it. It had to be something big to be done online. He does go in there with the box cutter, but it's the way in anybody who watches this episode, I want you to watch the way he looks down the barrel of the camera at the last moment. Like we're watching what he's doing at first, and we've never
Mhm.
had him engage with us, breaking the fourth wall until that scene at the very end. And he barrels down on the camera and he gives you a look. And I think in Brooker says that was intentional to draw our conclusions from it that way. He's not going to be. I personally don't think he's going to be there without his wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, not to get into that whole part of it, but yeah, I think that that is the desperation it has brought them both to. His
Mhm.
physical reaction to putting her out of his misery, the vomiting, the oh my god, it's done. Like he knew it was a gift he gave her. Like he wants to end her suffering as much as his own, but he's doing it for her. He's not doing it for him. Uh, and so to make it better for him, he has to do something too, right? You know.
Yeah. He's got to cut the pain out.
Yep, exactly. And that's a hard thing, a very hard thing to discuss, obviously. Um, but when I looked up what Brooker has been saying about this whole episode in general. Um, he envisioned this. You're going to think this is weird because Brooker actually came out and said in an interview that when he was envisioning this whole episode in the beginning, it was a lighthearted story centered around a subscription service essential for survival. But once he actually got into it, it became so dark and Black Mirror like, and so like it just took a turn
Yeah.
that much. And it actually evolved into the darker satire that's criticizing the commodification of the healthcare and exploitation nature of, of subscription
Mm.
models themselves. It like painted
Even
a story for now, like 2025, which is a
yeah,
Brooker trademark. He wrote this a while ago, a long time ago, and yet it we're watching it now, and we can relate to here in America at least, Mousy, right? What's going on? Like,
yeah,
and we're all,
and I mean, it's even like it even shows like consumerism. It's like you've got to have more, more,
Mhm.
more.
Right, right. Yep. The advertising of things in general,
Mhm.
and all of that. The absolute, the episode in general, it just portrays this couple struggle with a tech company, Rivermind, you know, and that offers a life extending service that just becomes invasive and reflects the, what do they call it? Enshiftification of subscription services themselves. We bring them into our lives to handle a certain part, and they just take more and more and more and more, and they make us want more, and they just like they take a little bit away, and then you got to pay a little bit more to get stuff back. It's just like the never ending shell game of subscription
Yeah,
services, which is a universal theme across the world. No matter what country you're in, you're dealing with this. Okay. There's legislation in all countries now trying to fight this kind of stuff. It's not being very successful. Okay. Um, it's not just the healthcare end of it, it's the subscription service and the capitalism invasion into our personal lives. Having to, I mean, can you imagine having to pay just to exist?
yeah. It's almost predatory.
Right. It's actually something we're all facing here in America right now. We're just like,
Mhm.
the when you think about capitalism, all capitalism countries in general, democracy and capitalism, yes, what you end up feeling if you are the people, like a rat on a wheel. You start getting less
Oh,
and less for what you do. And you need to do more and contribute more and lose a lot just to keep the status quo. It's never ending. You never get ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
see, okay, Claire. When
mhm.
okay, me and Claire were talking, and I told her I wanted to do an episode of Black Mirror, and I hadn't watched it yet, and she was like, "Are you sure you don't want the first one?" And then I watched it, and it was kind of ironic the way it happened, but I watched it, and then my husband had some doctor's appointments the week before, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Dude, this is like what's going on right now." My husband had three doctor's appointments that week, Claire, and all they did was refer him to another doctor, who referred him to another doctor, who referred him to another doctor. And you're talking $180 in copays. And he
Mhm.
still hasn't been treated for his initial problem. And I was like, yes, please, I'll take one. I was like, I will take one.
Mhm.
I was like, and like that's what we're facing in America. You're paying for a service, and then you go to get, you know, return on that service, and you just keep paying more and
And
more
more.
and more, and they're just going to keep taking more and more and more. I was like, man,
Mm.
that is
And you
wild.
and at the same time you're getting less. They're
Yeah,
moving the goalposts. They're changing the services that you get. Yeah, it's never ending. No, and I get you. I'd
I,
absolutely get you. I want to go back to a point that Jin made that I missed about like the staring down at the camera. He says, was he actually staring down the camera and looking at us, or was he taking a last look at his wife? And that's a good point. But they don't show us in the camera angle what he's looking at. And it literally looks like he's looking right at us. Okay. And asking us like, what would you do? That's what entered my mind when I saw that scene. He's looking at me, and I'm like, like, what would I do? Like, oh my god, this is this is horrible. And I think the way Brooker lays it out, he's not he's not actually, he's just laying it out that that last look is is the key to what he does. And also, if you look at the how they laid it out, that it was a special investor, it's a large amount of money. It has to be something really big he's going to do. And he
Hmm.
was like, don't worry about it, because it doesn't matter. Like, whatever he had to do for that money wasn't gonna matter in the end anyway. And to me, that signifies that there wasn't anything that was going to be a consequence, because neither of them would be there to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, I think when he got paid to do it, he knew he was going to do it anyway, and at least he could give Amanda a little bit of peace for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
I, I like where Jin, you put this perfectly. When we talk about took a turn, he says, took a turn. This was akin to sliding down an icy mountain road with the brakes locked up. You're still picking up speed and coming up on a hairpin turn. Oh, and don't forget the 1,000-foot cliff.
yeah,
Exactly. Perfect, Jin. That's absolutely perfect. Because when we talk about how the couple goes from like so happy to that, because at the end, what happens to us as the viewer of the whole episode is that 1,000-foot cliff. And it was done on purpose by Brooker, as usual, because, he knows we all love us and he just wants us to hate him. So he kicks us in the gut every time. Like,
yeah.
every time. I'm like, gee, thanks, I missed you, Brooker, but damn, that hurt. That definitely hurt. Like, I was affected. I definitely was. And
This
then,
one,
go ahead.
this one took me back to season one, episode one, where they had the music the where they were, they had the show to see, like the America's Got Talent kind of show, and the girl who wanted to compete and the guy who, it took me back to that episode, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, wow, that
Yeah.
was dark, and that slapped you in the gut, like kicked you in the
Yep.
gut, slapped you in the face, and tripped you, and this was worse.
Because he does purposely, and he did admit it in the interview, that he purposely left the ending of Mike's fate ambiguous for us to figure out. He left us enough clues, he says, he also wanted to emphasize the dehumanizing aspect and impact of technology when it's driven by profit motives. That is a common theme what Brooker threw out. Okay,
Hmm.
a lot. Like, he has issues with it, and he comes from tech. Anybody that knows Charlie Brooker's series, he was a writer. He's a game writer. Like, he's a technology writer from before. He was in gaming and stuff like that. And he does code, all this other stuff. He was writing for that. And so he knows how. Like, he saw technology developing at a point that we didn't really pay attention to way back then. So he's seen things, and he's marveled at things, and he always comes back to this theory about tech in our lives. It doesn't matter if it was even last season that he concentrated on horror. The tech was still so prominent in your face,
Oh
like,
yeah.
right? Like, it's always about that. And so that's where we get to like some of the Easter eggs, like the technology of that bee that's been replaced by the mechanical bee that terrorized me in National Anthem. Like, don't
Yeah.
even get me there again. That bee crawling up somebody's nose and just no, 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 no. I had nightmares for I don't know why that bee and that technology just destroys me so much. The fact that somebody could like dial into that technology and control it and weaponize
Hmm.
it to do murder and to do like personal things with, like, it was
And how
just
would you
such a,
know?
every concept of that scared me beyond like just the reality of it, because I could relate to it, because I see it playing out. We see systems getting hacked all the time. We see systems trying to be replaced by automation and no more than natural. Like, you take the bee and what we were dealing with in the crisis all over the world of bees leaving the planet, and how we're going to grow our food and how we're going to do this. Like, it was so, like, then, like, just like Brooker does, he takes a situation and he just makes an episode about it, and every part of it hits me with what's going on right now. It scared me to death, and that's why I said, like, Clarence, I'll be dealing with that one, but that is one of the Easter eggs for sure. But for sure. And I don't think he personally put it there just to terrorize me. I mean, my head's not that big, but I will say it affected me. And it was right in the beginning. And I'm like, oh hell no, Charlie, like, really? Mr. Brooker, please, like, really? Come on. Like, but I love that about him. I do. I love the fact that this man, in what he does creatively, affects me so much. That's how I know he's so damn good. Everything he does affects me on some level like this. It's crazy. What's this
And he
one?
didn't want you to
Okay.
forget them bees.
Rivermind hits people when they are at their most vulnerable, when they are not able to think clearly and rationally. Exactly. Totally profit oriented, totally targeted to a vulnerable section of people that cannot actually be thinking clearly at the time. It's a service they would want so bad they can taste it, and they just market it that way. And the fact that it becomes clearly for profit and not the greater good is so evident from the start. Yeah. Spot
It's,
on, Mrs. Cassandra. Yeah.
yeah, and turns it predatory. I mean, when you get told, I want you to feel like you have service, there's a problem in whatever it is they're doing. So, yeah, like that whole Rivermind, it's like they just want them to, feel
Mm-hmm.
like they've got control, but they don't. They have no control over what's going to change, and they have no idea what's coming.
Mm-hmm. They absolutely do. And like, I always go back. I always try to find out what Brooker is actually saying about, a episode, and he does find this one as particularly chilling. Because he purposely did it, to give everybody the feel of going back. He says this season is going back to Black Mirror of the earlier times. How tech is affecting you on a human level. It can be good and bad at the same time. How things can go astray. Um, he calls it his traditional Black Mirror approach. Okay, focusing on his words, focusing on technology's role in society, aiming to challenge viewers' expectations by exploring the themes of memory, identity, and ethical dilemmas while dealing with tech in your own personal life, rather than solely just putting it out there as a dystopian scenarios. He's trying to remove the dystopian part and put back relative to right now, 2025, to everyday life whenever you watch this. Instead of something in the future, like other episodes, like the mechanical dog killers, ones that we have watched about more future technology and future, a future part of the Black Mirror universe, more dystopian, end of times. He always tries to put the technology as neutral, and that it's the humans that are misusing the technology. And I say that knowing that some people are going to go, "What? Their lives are destroyed." That's not neutral. Yeah, it is. But is the technology itself not a good thing? Think about that technology.
Hmm.
Think about what
That
they just
technology is amazing.
Yeah, that could change so many lives. People with brain tumors, people with debilitating disorders. Talk about people just on the autism spectrum that had disconnections or that has seizures disorders that are based on, electrical impulses and stuff like that. Like just it's mind-boggling what it could do, right? Because they're able to take a damaged area or a non-functioning area and get rid of it and map the rest of you around it as whole,
Hmm.
as yourself, uh healed, cured, you know
Yeah.
can you imagine? The technology itself is astounding, but then you put something like a corporation that wants to misuse it for profit, or the people that misuse it for gain, like in other episodes, for different things, like you
Hmm.
know like in the political ones and stuff like that. But it's always the humans that take this great thing, like the bees. Back to the bees, Clarence. You could have tortured me with the bees. Here I am telling YouTube how to torture me for the rest of the year, Mousy, because it is those damn bees. Uh,
Bring up the bees.
because that's the thing with the bees. Wonderful technology that's going to save the planet. Because if the bees do die out, we've got mechanical bees that can still pass pollen from flower to flower. We will still have food. We can generate this. We can control this. We've got a solution. This is great.
Yeah, there's
And then some
solar
guy,
power. It's
it,
great.
it's great. It's wonderful until somebody hacks into it and uses it for their own personal vendettas, to change the
Mhm.
world. Like makes it a horrible thing. It is a
I mean,
common. Yeah.
honestly, you talk about, okay, like the way he did it, it's great that he made it to where it's like every day and like not a dystopian setting. I don't think there is a dystopian setting anymore. I think we're way past that. We
Yeah.
are the dystopian setting now.
And
I
yet
mean, I
we
hate to
didn't.
say it,
And yet,
but we're
yes,
there.
we're there, except we haven't ended the world, because dystopian is always the restarting of the world in a different way, right? Like
Yeah,
we haven't, but things have changed so much. Nothing's the way it used to be, but
yeah,
it's changed so fast that everything, we're not even acknowledging that, like, the world is still here, right? We still have all the countries, we still have all the people and everything. We're not looking at, like, how like some of the dystopian novels and things that we watch, it's always like after a nuclear war or some tragic thing that happened to wipe out almost everyone, and there's less population, and we're looking at barren lands and no buildings and this that. Like if you take The Last of Us, like they just came back for season 2, and I'm using that as a reference because I just watched it last night, and oh my god, that's another brilliant one. But when you're dealing with, like, just the thing that, like, the buildings are all there from before, but the people are all gone, and like you go up on a big city and you see a herd of giraffes because they escaped from the zoo, just walking around wild now. Like, that kind of dystopian feel. Like you recognize the world, but it's not the way it used to be at all. It's all upside down. Nothing's the same as it was, but there's just enough familiarity to it that you recognize this is the world we used to live in. Like I recognize the buildings from New York, or the fields or trees, or common, something common. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Um, some of the I want to get a little technical here, so I hope I don't lose everybody. But some of the main things in my perception is three big issues that I think came out there was, well, on relating every day, Mousy, right? Like just you and me. We're totally different people. We've had different upbringings. We live in different parts of the country. We have a different life experience, right?
yep,
Different ages, whatever. But these three things, and we are both American, but I think that these three things I'm going to bring up relate internationally too. So help me out here, chat. You can push back on it, but I think the three things here that are universal to all of us are the ever increasing in cost of technology, something new coming out, and it just becomes out of reach for everybody. It's not something you
oh,
can
absolutely.
immediately grab. And so it creates a us versus them environment. So that's it for the cost of technology. With that, the dark side of capitalism. And I mean the really dark side. We're not even people to these people. Okay. This episode just sanitizes the whole economy and everything, and makes it so desperate, and it's like they're not even human anymore. They're a commodity. Okay.
We're the
Even
common people.
right, even the dark side of capitalism when it comes to the dumb dummy side. Like, right? The technology to be out there to be able to sell something that you do, but the people just like making it dark and nasty by paying you to hurt yourself, or to do weird stuff, or bully you, harass you, demoralize you, you
And
know.
they want to watch it. They
And
can't get
yes,
enough of it.
right, exactly. And then just the human cost of technology dependence. Look what happened to them because they were dependent on Amanda being connected to that service. Everything depended on it. Everything. Oh, yeah. Try to take a phone away from a teenager these days. Try to take a phone away from a grown ass adult these days. for any period of time. The human cost of what we're losing for our dependence on technology, to me, was very evident here. In a subtle way, but also in a once I realized it, smack me in the face kind of way. Because two things can be true at the same time. Because with that part, it definitely was. It Brooker in this episode is covering real life and death situations based on technology, based on how we deal with it, how we bring it into our life, and what we're going to use it for. Also, the ethical implications there, the moral dilemmas of medical technology. When is it going too far? Does it have a right to put a human being in that situation? You know,
And when should we control a life based on a subscription service?
exactly, exactly. But this is what I love about this series. I'm sorry if I bore people with it, but when I can get into that kind of stuff with something that just totally, I mean, it was entertaining, was it not, Mousy? Besides turning us
Oh,
upside down and kicking us in the guts, totally enjoyable.
yeah. It's like you can't look away. You just have to keep watching.
And
And
that's the art of. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I felt like the people watching the Dummies. Like I just could not stop watching the episode. As much as it hurt to see them go through that pain, I was glued to it. I was ready for episode two.
Yep. It's just beautiful the way they do it. That's why I'm such a Brooker fan. His ability to bring together teams that work so well together, to craft his idea out there perfectly, the use of directors in cinematographers and actors who really get it. The acting I thought was brilliant here. It was just enough. There were quite humorous, lighthearted moments that were played really well. There was seriousness played in when you look at when they're sitting, especially in Gainer's offices, right? Yep, you're green, Mouse. Yeah, good
Okay,
then.
cool.
All right. Um, just sitting in Gainer's office, in how both couples are reacting differently, but you can see the interaction between the two of them, that they get it, like in the realizations that are coming to them in the different ways of their body language and their looks on their faces and stuff like that. The acting is always superb. He does a great job at picking actors. I can't really complain about any of that. And to me, I always marvel at the work of the director and the cinematographer to mindlessly put this stuff together with us, to say the stuff that Brooker wants to say without words, without the words. The changing of Gainer's attire and atmosphere and mannerisms as they go through. The actor actually bringing that on, understanding what Brooker wants to do, and actually the way she actually even talks to them changes. The way she dresses,
Mhm.
the way she moves, where her office is, all of that. The feet, the subtle thing of the feet, okay? The subtle thing of where she's sleeping, how long she's sleeping, and how she's sleeping, how the actress portrays that the sleep isn't even good quality anymore. She's waking up tired all the time. She's falling asleep on the couch now, in chairs, in tired, it, just that subtleness, Um, I just think he's brilliant. If you go back to Nosedive and you remember in the cinematography, somebody that he's trying to present how everybody's living in a rosy life, and all of the panels are tinted pink. If you go back and look, it's not really in
Mhm.
black and white. There's pink everywhere. I'm just like, how brilliant was that? Because without even me noticing it, he was telling me this. And I just noticed that kind of stuff. I guess I go into it maybe a little too deep, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it so much. So let's talk Easter eggs. We talked about two of them already, right? National Bees is definitely one.
Yeah.
Um, the uh, Ditta is another one.
Yeah.
The Honey Nugs commercial, the first one she says when they're talking about the bees, and she loses and talks to the class about the ad for the Honey Nugs. Ditta, the company that puts those out, is an actual confectionery sugar company in a next episode number 2. So there's a tie to that. Like it's got a Black Mirror reference there for that. But there's other very obvious ones too. Do you have any of them, the mouse you want to present? Like, I don't want to take them
I
all.
well, there's one I'm not sure of. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the name of the elementary school was used previously, the name Cooper, but I'd have to go back and double check that. So don't take me at 100% on that. But I know there was at least one name in there somewhere that I have seen before. I can't
Yeah,
pinpoint it. I saw it and it gave me that twinge of you've seen that before.
mhm,
And that's
mhm.
the only other one I can think of off the top
Well,
of my head.
the other one that we already mentioned was anyone who knows what love is will understand. That's the Irma
Yeah.
Thomas song. They are singing it at the lodge. It's kind of in the background. It recurs throughout the series. We've all heard that one before. If you watch my series on Black Mirror, you know we've talked about this one before. We also did the Bees for Hated in the Nation, not National Anthem. I always confuse them. It was not in National Anthem. It's Hated in the Nation, which is from season 3. I always get those two titles mixed up. My apologies, people. It's definitely, I didn't even read my own notes on it. Like, it's definitely Hated in the Nation. Clarence brings up another one, the
Yeah,
Juniper
Juniper.
Easter egg. The Juniper Lodge is named after the couple's anniversary destination. It shares its name with San Junipero, which is the virtual reality haven from season 3, one of my
Yeah,
absolute all-time favorite concepts for
that
an
was
episode. I
that was
want
a
to
great
live in that
episode.
world. I mean, that and the one with the gaming where you can go into a game and be anybody you want to be. Uh,
Hmm.
Something Vipers. Oh my God, why can't I name it anyway?
Striking Vipers.
Striking Vipers. Anybody who knows me and has been talking in my Discord knows that those are my two episodes, and I would live in either one of them for the rest of my life forever. Like, seriously,
And
I
from what I've the parts that I have seen, because the USS Callister uses that same technology as
mm-hmm.
the with the
With
little
the we- right,
thing.
because in the U in that episode USS Callister, they do a replica of the whole person and put them somewhere else, right? They
Yeah,
just
the
map
DNA
the whole
cloning.
person, not just their brain, but they put the whole thing about them up in the cloud and can put them anywhere they want. Like, that's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
And then they have that little device that they stick on the side of their head that turns their eyes white. They use that in
mm-hmm.
like a couple of different places, and that
Yes.
is wild. Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, if we had those,
There
man,
is a lot of
that'd be
technology that has taking the personality or the brain. We've got episodes where they brought somebody back to life in a
hmm.
robot as a person. There's a lot about that. There's the kern, the seed that can get rid of memories, or you can have other people's memory. Like, there's a lot of this type of mind technology, mind altering, mind simulating, mind encapsulating, and controlling technology. It's very prominent in, like, so many episodes, right? Uh,
Yeah.
I found a couple of more. Do you have more you want?
That's the only that's the only one I can think of right now. Like the Juniper. I did that one when I was pretty sure was one. And the Cooper. I've seen that somewhere before. I don't know if it was in one of the other episodes I watched or a past one,
Mhm.
but yeah, and I'm sure when I go back and watch the other seasons, I'm gonna find more because
Yep.
he tends to do that and peppers things throughout the series. Where, like you'll watch one season and there'll be three or four different things in that one
Mhm.
season that are all connected. So
Mhm.
I'm
Well,
excited to finish watching it so I can find them.
I'm gonna pass out some cookies and ruin some of it for you because there's people in the chat that I'm so proud of. They saw stuff. A small cute puppy, adorable, cute, very adorable name. And you are correct. The hospital she was in is St. Juniper. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Cassandra, big cookies there. Username from Dum Dummies. You had to be paying attention. I am Waldo. Okay.
Hmm.
Unawful from, Joan is awful. Okay. And Snoutman 44, which may be about Michael Callow. I think Snoutman did appear in the Michael Callow episode. Okay, I'm not going to give that away where it's from just yet. But yes, wonderful. You did better than I did, Mrs. Cassandra, on those because I only had I am Waldo. But I'm looking at what you just wrote there, and if those are usernames from the screen, you're absolutely correct. They would be nods, totally, totally. I do have two more, but I do want to strike this one because of the comment. Clarence, my thing with striking Vipers episode, the programmers must have known it would be used for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and isn't that the selling point of it? You could be either character, a man or a woman, but actually feel it as that character. Like, be yourself, but feel it from that character's perspective. Like when he is a woman now and he gets to experience sexual relations as a woman, and
As
he's
a
a man, and he,
woman,
and he never knew what it was like, and it was mind blowing to him. It's a fascinating episode. Just
you
it's
can see
it's
how
got
that would be almost like addictive too, because
right.
it hits different. So hey,
In a weird way, it does become addictive because he wants to be that character, experience that, but in real life, he doesn't want anybody to know that he's in love with his college roommate and he's gay. He don't want
but even then, I don't even think it was like that because when they were in the real world and he was like, "Hey, kiss me," and he was like, "Yeah, no, nothing." Like there was
anybody.
nothing there. Like it was only when they were in Striking Vipers and one was the girl and one was the
Mhm.
guy that they were even attracted to each other. It was wild.
Yep. And that's the thing that there is a bear too, Clarence. I do realize that, and that's a nod to a video game, a game that we all are aware of. That certain characters could get involved with the bear. It's like, we know that caused a big thing all over the gaming industry for a little while there. Just imagine if they actually advance that technology; it's going to be an issue. Hello, West Side Girl Reacts. It's good to see you. We're going to be doing an episode together, episode 3, and Clarence and I from the chat. We'll be doing episode 5, and I'm doing an episode with Culture Cats. We don't know which one yet. He's still deciding. There's a few left, very few. But I just love this. I love that you're all getting involved with this. I really do. But here's the rest of the Easter eggs that I found because I don't want to keep Mousy too long or bore you all. But the rest of the Easter eggs that I found and was the name of the law firm, Victoria Skillane from White Bear, the Skillane Legal. Okay, that actually shows up on the website. And like Mrs. Cassandra said, she had already listed the dum dum usernames. Did Record get Oblivion remastered? Oh, you mean the game? I have no idea, but I'll ask him later. I'll be talking to him. Or you can ask him in chat tomorrow. We're streaming tomorrow together. Mrs. C. Is that a game? Because currently the reason Record's not on Twitch right now with his gaming is his computer had a bit of an issue with the GPU and he's having it looked at. So I don't think he's gotten any games right now because he can't game. Yeah, he can't game right now. Also, Fish Nerd, what are you talking about bonking a polar bear? Wait a minute, I gotta go up and see. Let's see. On the whole thing about experiencing sex as a woman, that's also call back to the doctor who got addicted to using the neural network to feel his patients feel. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh
Where were
yeah, I
you?
forgot about that one.
Yeah. Where were you when I did striking? Were you with us, small cute puppy, when we did striking vipers? Because I'm sure you would have thought of that then too. That's very good parallel there to the episodes. And right back to the beginning of this whole stream when Charlie asked us right out of the box, "Do you think this is all related to all the other ones?" And I think now that it's been an hour and a half in, I could say yes. What do you guys think?
Oh,
How do
absolutely.
how do you think about it, Mouse? I think it does relate all the way through. There, you can always find common themes with Brooker. You know,
Oh yeah, I mean, all the way back to like, from like you said, from the beginning, when they had the contest, and that's what it kind of reminded, that kind of gut punch
mm-hmm.
to, just how dark and sad it was to the neurological from the video games and you know, the yeah, just you can find like little tidbits of all of it throughout. And man, it's kind of crazy. And I can't wait to finish the season and see how much more there is.
Yes. In on that, I will say we are covering every episode. There will be myself and another panelist or two or three. I'm not going to limit it because I have found that a lot of people are just as passionate about this as I am. And I'm very thrilled about it. It's kind of like my love of Douglas Adams that I brought out here. And I found that quite a few people were also very fond of him. And it encourages me. So it's all your fault I'm here doing this, people. You encouraged me by participating and wanting to be part of it, and I love it. So please, if you want to do an episode or be part of the season finale when we talk about how they all relate together, let me know. That will be a panel show. I can have up to 10 people, and I'm willing to have as many as you want. So please, and I'm thrilled, small cute puppy, that you've been on this journey with us with this series because it is honestly not a very popular series out there. I've been doing it since it's much smaller than I am now, and I don't really care about the numbers. It's a passionate thing for me. I love it, and I'm glad you like it too, and that you're contributing. So I hope you'll keep coming and tell me if I'm doing it right or doing it wrong. Please hit that comment section, everybody. If you're watching this later, please do it. I want to hear from you. Just because I'm passionate about it, maybe I'm too passionate about it. If you think there were things Brooker got wrong here, I want to hear about it because I might be a little blinded. Because when he can drag me in and tear me up this way and still make me want more, that's the thing about Brooker. He tore me up with this episode. It was emotional. It made me think about things I don't want to think about as a person getting older in the United States right now in 2025. I don't want to deal with it.
Absolutely.
Right. And yet I still want more. I'm like, I it's like, damn, you took me for a ride, and I'm not willing to cash in my tickets yet. Like, take me for another one. Like, I'm still total fan.
It's like you buy a ticket knowing it's going to be a train wreck and you know you're going to get on that train. And if you're watching the train, you just can't look away. You just got to watch it till it wrecks.
Exactly. I so relate to this small cute puppy. I have been enthralled with Black Mirror since it first came out, especially that first episode with the pig. Oh my god. First came out, but everybody I try to show it to just gets uncomfortable and doesn't want to watch it anymore. Welcome to my life, small cute puppy. I'm glad there is another one out there experiencing the same way. No one of my friends and family in real life will listen to me for even a second about Black Mirror. Except, I will say, I have a one niece and one nephew. One niece who watched every episode and actually thought I was the coolest aunt on the planet when she found out I knew what she was talking about. I got some kudos there. And one nephew who actually is familiar with it, but now that he has kids and he's married, he won't watch it anymore.
Well, I
Which
bet it makes them a little uncomfortable
is
knowing because it's very
Mhm.
relatable. Very relatable.
So when he was a wannabe edge lord, and God was he, oh my God, he was all for it. And we talked about it all the time. Now it's like, nah, Aunt Claire, I can't go there. This is too disturbing. It bothers me, the world my children will live in. And I'm like, that's Brooker doing his best. Seriously. I mean, that just says that Brooker's doing exactly what he wants to do.
Doing a good job.
And yes, Mrs. Cassandra, I'm still a Brooker hooker. You can call me that all you want. I'm not offended. I am a Brooker hooker. Yep. Yeah, she says I'm doing it wrong starting at this season. I've been with you for all to cover all the others. I know, but this one you actually dove in before we did it, and you had lots to say, and I'm happy. Are they too young for Black Mirror? Well, you know what? That's the other thing about my. I think this is a good way to end it, right, Mouse? Like Brooker has an innate ability to make those episodes timeless. You can watch the first episode and I guarantee it'll still relate to what's going on here in the United States right now. The message will
Oh,
hit home.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think in the UK too, because it was more UK based episode, and it was about something that was kind of going on at the time. But we still will see the parallels. We still will get the message. It's written and actually put out there and conceived and packaged in a, dare I say, timeless, aging well way. Like just it just doesn't get old. you may
Yeah.
relate to it a little bit
It's
differently,
still as
but the message
relatable as it
is.
was, you know.
Mhm. Yes, Clarence, who's from the UK, by the way. The first episode is especially weird in the UK, given what came out about a few months after it aired. Exactly. It's almost like he could tell the future, right? And that's the thing, is he has this way of getting into trends and things that are going on in technology and politics and all over the world. And he gets a concept and he weaves it in there and it becomes timeless. He gets it. He weaves the story. And just the stories themselves are just brilliant. Even without all the stuff I add in about it, they are just brilliant, standalone on their own. But any last words, Mouse?
Um, yeah, like all I gotta say is I'm excited. I'm excited to be here for the rest of it. I'll be in chat, obviously. I'm not gonna be up here every week or every time you do one, but I will be for every stream, and I am excited to watch the whole season. So, and I'm glad you're doing this. I was so
Oh,
glad to hear you were doing this. So I'm
oh, thanks.
excited.
I couldn't
I'm really
stop. I couldn't
excited.
stop. Nothing could stop me from doing this. I've had troubles with this series. I've had other co-hosts and everybody knows. And they're not really troubles. There's nothing really, no problem between me and anybody that used to do this with me. It's just, people move on, people do different things. But I'm never going to stop. Like, this is my passion. If I have to be like 90, doing Brooker, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'll be
I'll
here.
be watching.
Yeah, because I need people to talk about it, and I had to come out online to talk about it because, like I said, nobody in real life wants to hear it. Like, you're my captive audience, So there we go. I'm glad you're doing this too. I'm glad that there's so many of you that appreciate his work now. You know, but I'm already 125. Yes, to hear my little brother say so, Mrs. Cassandra, I'm already 125. So yeah, I'm aging well, by the way. Hey.
Yeah, you look great for 125.
I
No people
do,
sound
right?
so good at 125.
I'm fantastic. There's a lot of pep in me still. Like, I'm still doing it.
Heck
I can
yeah.
still, survive a Brooker episode with the best of them.
Still, still twerking at 125. You're doing great.
Exactly. Yes. All right. So on that, everybody, let me do the YouTubey things. And I did not put a banner on, like I forgot. you know. But anybody, just do me a favor, like, share, comment. I really like the comments. I like interacting with you, whether you're watching this now in the chat, you think of a question for later or something you want to discuss, or you're watching it later, which a lot of you do. Don't, come on, reach out. I answer every comment. I don't delete. Like, I could take the criticism if it's made constructively to grow. I'm there. I'm open. And I do like the interactions. Not only does it help the algorithm, but honestly, it's what I'm here for. That's what my channel says. I'm here for all the conversations. That's it. You know. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Mousy, for doing this, and for oh, Mousy just this Mousy. Is that your camera
I,
or hold on? I'm gonna bring you down in case it's your camera until you fix it. Okay, there you go. I didn't want you to do a massive reveal on necessarily like on
oh no, that
unwitting.
camera's got a screen over it. I think it
Oh,
was the one from my laptop. I don't know what's
it,
up with StreamYard. It's done that twice where it's turned my camera on. Like
I
I'm
don't
glad I
know.
got the little screen cover
I
up
know
there.
that's what I saw, and I didn't know if you were going to come into focus or not, so that's why I dropped you. But I'm glad. But on that, thank you so much. I just want to thank you for doing the first episode with me and being so open, taking the challenge here, and letting me talk so much. I'm sorry if I talked so much. Like, you know,
Hey,
I
I'm a
yeah.
mouse. I'm kind of quiet. You know.
Yeah, I kind of, yeah, I don't mean it, but like, it definitely speak up is like, I just get so excited about this stuff. I can't contain myself. So, on that, I'm going to end it. Everybody have a good night. Listen to this lovely Black Mirror, outro and intro, which I am continually using. I keep my series, pretty much the same, but I'm kind of proud of this one. It's one of the few ones on the channel that I actually did all by myself. Yep. They did
It's
with a little
awesome.
help of Netflix, of course, because that's one of my favorite like instrumental, guys out there doing free music. Netflix is great. He's also linked below in the description, along with Mousy's channel, along with the Black Mirror Reddit. Okay, which there's a lot of information in there, and the Black Mirror Discord for fans of Black Mirror. I'm listing it all because, if you guys are all fans and there's not a lot of places to go, at least we've got some like minds in there to share stuff with. So check out the links, check out Mounty's channel, and hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow for the 50th Law, Chapter 4, with Wrecker on that. Thanks again, Mouse. Have a good night.
Bye. Y'all have a good night.